All right, so this was a topic that I was actually really curious about because cost of living here in the States is becoming extremely, extremely expensive. So I'm just kind of like curious, poking around, figuring out what other countries in Europe pay to just live and survive every single day. We got a wide variety of different videos, different countries. I think we got 11 of them, different ones that we're going to go through. So buckle up, smash the like button, and let's dive in.
Here's what it costs to live in London, honestly. So I moved to London last year, and let me tell you guys, I'm still in shock by how expensive this city is. So let's get into it. Number one, housing. If you're looking for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, you're probably gonna spend between 1,500 to 2,000 pounds if you're looking for a central location. Most people have roommates, and they spend...
I mean, it is London. I know this isn't the entire UK, so I understand. If you're not living in London, you're probably going to spend a whole lot less, but still, 1,500 to 2K for a 1-bedroom. It's kind of crazy.
To be in zone 1 or 2, between 800 to 1,200 pounds, just to give you guys a ballpark area. Now for the fun one, food. So on a typical night out or for a meal, you're probably going to spend about 30 to 35 pounds. That's basically what I spend whenever I go out, and I also usually get a drink. Drinks will range between 7 to...
I mean, you're buying drinks like that? Of course it's going to be that much. And getting sushi, drinks with smoke coming out of them. Living the good life.
2 pounds a pop. Now, I also cook a lot. And on a typical grocery run, I'll spend about 40 to 45 pounds. And that's about twice a month. I love to cook. Now,
that's cheap.
Vacation or holiday.
She probably eats out a ton, though. She's spending $80 a month on groceries. Am I off there with that one? Or does that seem a little low for one person in the UK? I don't know. I picked a weird place to pause the video.
London is a pretty centrally located city, so you can probably get a nice holiday for a weekend for about 300 pounds. Now, keeping yourself busy with like movies, going out, you're probably going to spend between 15 to 25 pounds a pop. I love getting flowers, and those honestly aren't too expensive here. It's like 6 pounds a bouquet. And to get my nails done, I spend about 30 to 40 pounds a month. Now, transportation. It is super expensive to get around London, but I spend about 150 pounds per month. But I do live in a pretty centrally located area, so keep that in mind.
Trying to think. That might be more than what I spend for transportation a month. Of course, I own my car outright, but...
Lastly, gym. There are gym memberships that range between 20 to 200 pounds a month. I hope that this is helpful. Follow for more. Here's what it costs.
This doesn't seem like a normal budget. I know it's a single person, definitely not like a family, but I feel if she wasn't in London, this would be a lot cheaper. Comment section, bad vibes place. As a Londoner, hate it here. Oh, damn. Would I have a decent place in zone 2 for $650 and my friend with their own place is like $1,350, 1,400 euros. The salary difference in London versus US doesn't help. Is it that much different between... We're going to have to do a salary video. Okay, how are London and Paris both cheaper than where I live? They probably live in like some rural town in like America.
One else fed up with this shitty country. And the cost of living. The fuck is going on? I don't know anyone that isn't struggling at the moment, and it's actually a joke. It's a joke.
Same here.
I work full time. I work 8 till 5, 5 days a week. I pick up weekend work and work in a bar. My boyfriend works full time, picks up weekend work, works in the evenings. And yet we've got a week and a half left till payday, and I'm worried about how the fuck I'm going to feed us. How are we going to feed ourselves? Sorry, what? I've just had to spend my last money choosing between feeding myself and my dogs. Obviously, I fed my dogs. Got them. Harringtons. What the fuck? I just want to go and be able to feed myself and not stress about it, and not worry about how I'm going to get to work. I already have put in to HR to work from home twice a week because I can't afford to drive to the office 5 days a week. I rent a house that's only a 2-bedroom small town terraced house. I don't own my house. My car I've had for 8 years. It's literally falling apart. It's done 200,000 miles. I can't afford to fix it. This is going to go kaput on me soon. Then I'm well fucked. So what the fuck am I going to do then? Because HR aren't going to approve 5 days a week from home. What the fuck is going on? I just want to do girly things and get my fucking nails done. And I can't because I've got to worry about getting a loaf of fucking bread and a pint of milk.
I fell for her. Pretty sure my wife fell for her too because she doesn't get her nails done anymore. I'm like, you can do them at home. Just do them at home. It's easier. I mean, this honestly feels like it was plucked out of a normal person's life in America and just put in the UK. And I know a lot of other countries may be a little bit different. UK is experiencing some insane rising costs, but
And my dog
damn.
food. Like, what am I doing wrong? I don't go on holiday. I've not been abroad for like 7 years. And even the last holiday I went on, my parents paid for it because it was like a family holiday when I was 21. I'm 28 now. I've not been abroad since. I haven't even been away for a weekend anywhere in like England because I can't afford to. Like, I don't know. Anyone else just fed up with it? Like, I want to move abroad.
All right, I think we get the point. I was hoping for a little bit of a breakdown on this one. I guess this was more of just the feelings going on, and I get it. I mean, it is extremely expensive. Pretty much everywhere it seems like costs are going up. I think I read an article that in like Eastern Europe, where normally groceries are supposed to be really affordable, they've been like skyrocketing lately. It's nuts. Cost of open borders. You work so they don't have to. Yeah, we have a lot of I wonder if do they have like what we have here in the States, like SNAP food, like food programs in the UK where they just give out like $4,000 or 4,000 euros in free food. They give them a little card here in the States, and you get it if you don't make money or make very little money. You get paid a ton of money to go get groceries, and then if you work hard and make $4,000, you don't get the $4,000 to get the groceries, and then you get taxed on your money. Something's off. I don't know. We work our backsides off just to live, but many of us are not living. We're basically just existing. It's soul destroying. Yeah. Oh, man, that's heavy. I feel bad.
How the fuck are people still surviving? I made a video about this about a year ago saying how the fuck does the normal
Average rent, $1,400 a month. Cost of living is out of control.
family survive with the cost of everything? Well, new figures came out yesterday. The average rent in the UK now is £1,400 a month. So you've got to earn just over £15,000 a year after tax just for your rent. That doesn't include household bills, gas, electric, mortgage, council tax. It doesn't include food, doesn't include your Sky, your internet, your mobile phone, doesn't include petrol for your car, doesn't include tax for your car, doesn't include insurance. So realistically, if you're not earning 50 grand a year, you ain't surviving. Well, you're certainly not thriving. So my question is, how the fuck are people still affording to live? Council tax goes up every
Probably, I would say debt, right? Like people may just be going into debt.
year. Gas and electric goes up every year. Inflation goes up every year. People's mortgages are going up. How is this a thing? How is the average rent £1,400 a month? I'm flabbergasted. Fucking broken Britain. There's gonna be nothing left soon.
I'm on the highest wage I've ever been on, and I'm the poorest I've ever been. Kind of, I'm definitely not making the most I've ever made, close to it, but at the same time, I do feel like things are the tightest they've ever been. It's pretty crazy. Drowning in debt, everyone is in debt, yeah. Can't survive drowning in debt like the majority of us workers. Luckily, I don't have too much debt. That's good. Decent. Wow. Health insurance 55. She went through that really quick. 330 to 561 for rent. Probably a roommate, I would imagine. Yeah. Would you guys agree? $5.50 or 120. What is it? Gosh. We just did a money video. Oh, I can't remember. Groceries 100 to 150 in a month. That is amazing. I spend more than that in a week for 5 people though, but yeah. A sign I need to leave America. Laugh out loud. Bingo. This is so inexpensive compared to the Netherlands. I don't know where I want to study abroad. Everyone's saying this is affordable. The minimum wage here is like $3 an hour.
how much it costs us in a month living on one of the most beautiful islands in the world as a family of 3.
So starting off with our mortgage, we pay 266 a month. We have
266 euros a month for your mortgage. Oh my gosh. I would save thousands of dollars.
a pretty decently sized house. It's around 1,300 square feet or 120 square
That's
meters.
nice.
We don't really live near the seaside though. It takes us about an hour to get to the closest beach. For our electricity, we pay 65 euro a month. Internet, 25 euro. That's pretty standard. 2 phones, we pay 20 euro. That's also pretty
20
standard.
euros
We get
for 2
unlimited
phones?
data. Gas for our car, we pay about 100 euro per month. We have a diesel.
Okay.
Groceries, we
Little
spend
steep.
just about 150 euro per month, and there are some caveats.
Oh my god. What are we doing wrong? Why are groceries so expensive for us? 150 euros a month for groceries for 2 people? Unbelievable.
Number 1, we eat lunch at my in-laws' house every day, so we're not actually paying for lunch. We do help my in-laws
Okay.
out with groceries
All right.
sometimes, or we help them out in other ways though, so it kind of evens out. But I didn't really include that. Number 2 is that we grow a lot of our own food, so that is kind of a cost we've already paid for. I do want to make another video though on how much it costs us to homestead in general here in Sardinia. And lastly, eating out, we spend about 50 euro a month. We get pizza just once a week for the most part.
That's also crazy to me. 50 euros, that's not even a meal. Like, I have family visiting right now, my wife's family, and I have to go pick up food here in like 2 hours. Get everyone food, it'll probably be $90. So like 100 euros.
I did want to point out though that we do get a baby bonus from the Italian government because we are low income. That's 180 euro per month. So that leaves our expenses at around 520. And we do buy other random.
That's so insane to me. Oh my gosh. Not me Googling how to become an Italian citizen so we can move there part-time in our retirement. So I can retire there easily with 6K a month salary. Yes, you can. Probably won't be I don't know. I have no idea. I live in Sardinia, but I pay a lot more for electricity and water too. Last month, 90 euros for electricity and 220 for water bills. Damn, my water bill's not even that high.
Living in Italy is actually the cheapest thing ever. When people vacation here, they spend a lot of money because they're doing experiences and going to restaurants that, they obviously want to enjoy since it's their vacation time. But if you're living here day to day and renting long term, my rent is 350 euros a month, which is $400 a month pretty much. I probably spend like $50 on groceries a week max. If you got to
Okay, so that seems a little bit closer. 50 a week and groceries for 1 person. So the 150 a month for 2 people, I was right that was kind of crazy.
dinner to like a pizzeria, you might spend 10 euros a person. Health insurance is free, which is another huge bonus. I don't drive a car here, so I take the train everywhere, so I don't have car payments or gas to pay for. I buy a monthly train pass for 60 euros, and I have unlimited trains the whole month. Those are just a few examples, but let me know if you'd like to hear more.
Interesting. It's like people who live in Mexico saying it's cheap. It's cheap for you, expat, but not the people in the country. Valid point. Yeah, salaries are probably much lower for the Italian citizens than they are for expats living there, just working remotely and making probably 5 times as much. Yes, agreed. Looking forward for another 6 months there. Do you have to give up your citizenship from your original country to get healthcare? I don't think that's a thing. I'm pretty sure.
When I moved from the US to Belgium, the country with an average cost of living 34% lower than the US, rent 51% cheaper, overall crime rate 21% lower, violent crime rate 66% lower, but taxes are higher. More on that in a sec. Flight from the US to Belgium costs around $1,100 and takes about 8 hours. To stay in the country, the first 3 months are visa free. After that, there's the Belgian long stay visa and the Belgian residence permit. Looking to rent, typical monthly rent averages $860 to $1,300. Looking known, a house costs an average of $275,000. Belgium's
bad.
personal tax rates are generally higher than the US, ranging from 25 to 50% for residents, as well as social security contribution and a regional tax. You made $100,000 in Belgium, you pay roughly 27% more in tax. The cost of living is low, rent is cheaper, overall crime is lower,
That's a
violent
lot
crime
more
is lower.
tax.
55% of the population is proficient in English.
Obviously, this is what you're paying for. Cost of living is lower, rent is lower, crime is lower, language barrier, no.
If you wanted to work towards citizenship, Belgium allows dual citizenship. The taxes are significantly higher. You want to move from the US to Belgium.
For 250K, you're not going to find a house here. Okay. I'm noticing a recurring pattern. Higher taxes that actually go to what they need to go to, better standard of living. Yeah, but there's a balance, right? Or not really a balance. There's kind of like an off balance, because if you work your ass off and make like crazy money, you're going to pay way more tax than somebody who's not really motivated, who, you know, I don't want to say not motivated, but could be, that's not making as much, and then they have a less tax. So you're paying way more tax. Like here in the United States, I think it's like the top the top 10% pay like 80% of the taxes in the entire country, or like 90%. It's wild. I'd have to look at the stat, but yeah.
This is the average monthly cost of living for families that live in Lisbon versus Porto, Portugal. Average salary in Lisbon, $4,952. Average salary in Porto, $4,740. Average rent,
Not the same.
$1,617 and $1,179. Utilities,
Whoa.
$257 and $187. Groceries, $600 and $500. Dining out, $350, $345. Transport, $300. This
Did it like cut off right there?
This is the average monthly cost of living for families that live in Lisbon versus Porto, Portugal. Average salary in Lisbon, $4,952. Average salary in Porto, $4,740. Average rent,
About the same.
$1,617 and $1,179.
Jeez. So the average income is $200 more, or dollars. Oh yeah, she has it in dollars. $200 more dollars in Lisbon, but your rent is gonna be $500, or like 400 and whatever, some change different. That's nuts.
$57 and $187. Groceries, $600 and $500. Dining out, $350, $345.
I think it's getting cut off here. Pretty wild.
Let's talk living expenses in Portugal. So I live alone and abroad in Portugal from my home country of Australia, where you make bank, and here where it's a minimum wage country. And living alone is expensive. It is not the ideal situation for me, but it is what it is, because I have a 1-bedroom, like a tiny little townhouse in Lagos. So these are some of the costs that kind of come with living abroad or living here in Portugal, if that's what you plan on doing. So rent, I pay $700, which is a big ouch for me. It is a huge ouch, but it's really the only thing I can do. So I need a roof over my head, and I don't want to give up my house because I don't want to move in with someone else, because I have my dogs, and yeah, I can't really do that. Then on top of that, bills, I would say every 3 months I pay about 200 euros in bills, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, just because there's obviously like water, I pay for gas, then I have the electricity bill, and on top of that I have a really expensive like Vodafone plan, because I have like an unlimited data plan which cost me 30 euros a month, but when I moved into my house, my ex didn't have an unlimited data plan and he wanted one, so that ended up being like for the house and the TV to have all these connections and stuff, an extra 40 euros. He moved out, it's a 2-year plan, so I basically pay 70 euros a month for that. So actually my bills come to probably more.
You can't lower it? I mean, if you're in a plan, you're like, you're going to be with us. But if a person moves out, wouldn't that get you out of the plan? I could be wrong.
Every 3 months, but yeah. I don't want to talk about that.
I guess it was just under.
Then on top of that, groceries, I would say I pay about 150 euros a month, which I think is actually not too bad.
Bonkers.
Like, I cook a lot at home, which is really good. And usually I make things
really
that last over a few days, just because I feel like that helps to save, because I always have something to eat when I get home. Then on top of that, I would say eating out. I don't do that much anymore, but eating out definitely costs about 200 euros a month if I'm eating out like once or twice a week. I'd say each time it comes to like 20 euros a bill, 25 euros. It's not very cheap here, unless you go to traditional Portuguese places, which are cheaper and amazing, but unfortunately I'm vegetarian, so they don't really accommodate for vegetarian food, because the Portuguese cuisine is meat and fish, which you should try. And then on top of that, I have 2 dogs. So my dogs, I'm going to say their dog food costs me 50 euros and that lasts me about 5 weeks. Then on top of that, dog training and dog treats. So also a huge cost. So a lot of costs, and there's obviously so many other things, like obviously if you're buying clothes and stuff, but this is a little bit of something that you're looking into if you plan on moving.
All right, $700 would get you a room in Barcelona, and I said dollars again, you guys, I keep doing this. 700 euros would get you a room in Barcelona and absolutely nothing in Amsterdam. 700 euros for renting is a bargain in Portugal these days, unfortunately, and 150 for groceries isn't bad at all. Yeah, I felt kind of the same on both of those. I think that's actually like pretty affordable, a pretty affordable way to live. That's really good. They have a whole breakdown right here too. Total amount, 2,589 euros. Personal purchases aren't included here. These are just our fixed payments and necessities. Okay. Oh, they have a whole story. As an American, this was pretty relatable except for the grocery bill. When I visited Germany, I was shocked by how low groceries were. A real fruit berry smoothie was 3 euros, but the same drink here would be around $7. This seems really, really affordable. Germany. Did they say where it was in Germany? Is there a hashtag? Let's see here. Lernen Deutsch. Oh, Lernen Deutsch. Looks like they're from Japan. I don't see the city. Somebody says crying in American. Gasoline 150. Okay. So cheap. Pay more than that here for 1 week's rent. How much I usually spend per month as an international student living in Berlin. 500. Language school, 800 euros. That's wild. I mean, I guess, is it just college that she's paying for? And in that case, but it's language school. See, groceries, seems a little more realistic. 300 euros for one person a month. I could probably get by on that myself. Eating out, 0 euros. I am a food vlogger. Oh, when are brands going to pay me to review their foods? Trips and shopping. Okay. Living expenses as an international student in Germany. The prices are okay, but the 800 euros for a language school, what do they teach you there? Ancient Egyptian? No, that was a great comment. Oh, I gotta heart that one. I spend 50 euros groceries per month. LOL. Why does everyone have different prices? Probably different places that they live, different cities, Hello, I am soon traveling to Berlin as an international student. So may I ask you that how much you can earn as a student, and does your earning able to cover the expense? 540, I think.
How much I pay living in Hamburg, Germany? Housing, 600 euro. Utilities, 100 euro.
Love the
Transportation, 100 euro. Food, 400 euro. Wi-Fi, 50 euro. Going out, 300 euros. In total, 1,550 euros. What about living in your city?
I guess when you're young, you get to go out a whole lot more, because 300 euros for one person going out a month, I would never spend that much. Maybe when I was younger, I probably did though, so I get it. I live both in China and Germany. Follow me for more traveling tips. Okay, cool. Someone says very cheap.
How much does it really cost to live in Berlin? Berlin is the second German city with the highest rent.
Flat cost per square meter. So Munich is the most expensive. Berlin is the second most. Freiburg, pretty cheap. Okay.
After Munich, the prices for just a room start at 400 euros. For a flat, around 1,000 euros. Of course,
I think that's pretty affordable. 1,000 euros for a flat.
It depends on the area, how big the place is, and if it is renovated or not. This is what you should expect to pay for these things.
Health, transport, entertainment, heating, electricity, water, internet.
Entertainment, okay. Heat, electric, water. It seems a little high for like a person. Cell phone is pretty dang cheap. Internet also decent.
Cell phone service. If you're a student, you need 934 euros monthly to live in Germany. But if you work and you live alone, you need more than 1,600 euros. How do these compare to your country?
Health, just 74. I'm a student. I pay every month around 120 bucks into my healthcare. Well, they pay the 74 and then they also pay the taxes. I guess if you're living there abroad, yeah, you're probably paying the taxes. Unless you're a student, I guess you're not working. My 70-meter apartment costs 1,600 euros. Help! Berlin is too expensive.
Cost of living like in Switzerland? Well, at risk of oversharing, here are the numbers. As a gardener, you can see what my salary is here in Switzerland, Geneva specifically, and what it was in the US. I put everything into US dollars to make for easier comparison.
I'm going to watch it, but this doesn't really, unless he's got another page, doesn't really look like cost of living. It looks like income.
No matter how I run the numbers, the taxes I'm paying and the retirement contributions I'm making are pretty similar between Switzerland and the US for my salary bracket. Now there are some minor differences, like in Switzerland I pay a maternity leave tax, but I don't pay a Medicare tax. Also in Switzerland, it's mandatory that your employer contribute to your 401k, and in my particular case, for every dollar that I put towards my 401k, my employer puts $2. Now the biggest discrepancies come out when we compare health insurance. In Geneva, I'm paying about 6.5% of my salary towards insurance premiums, where in the US, that number was more than twice as much. And you need to keep in mind that in Switzerland, health insurance deductibles are capped at 2,500 Swiss francs, whereas in the US, my deductible when I left was $7,000 per year. So between taxes, deductions, and health insurance, you can compare and see what I had left at the end of the year between Switzerland and the US to pay for rent, food, and other activities. Keep in mind that this Swiss salary comes with 5 weeks of paid vacation, basically unlimited sick days, and better retirement benefits. But Brian, Switzerland is way more expensive than the US, right? You're not wrong. The cost of living in Kansas City, Missouri is about 40% cheaper than it is here in Geneva, Switzerland. However, it's really interesting to note that because when I first moved to Geneva, it was about 50% cheaper. So you can really see the effect that inflation has had in the US. One comparison I really like to make is the difference in McDonald's prices. So you can see that McDonald's meal in Geneva will cost about $17.30, whereas in Kansas City, about $9. But how does that compare in terms of percentage of minimum wage? In Kansas City, Missouri, the minimum wage is $12 an hour, and the minimum wage in Geneva is 24 Swiss francs an hour. So in terms of percentages, a McDonald's meal in Kansas City is going to cost you 75% of minimum wage per hour, whereas in Geneva, it's going to be about 62%. The biggest difference that I noticed here in Geneva versus the US are housing prices. The housing prices are insane. It's way more expensive than most places in the US. But then for other things, it can be hard to make a direct comparison because the mode of life here is different. For example, I'm saving on transportation costs in Geneva versus Kansas City. I don't have a car in Geneva, which saves me so much money. I pay 450 Swiss francs a year for a public transportation pass, which gets me buses, trams, trains, water taxis, and I take my bike to work. At the end of the month, I have more money and a better quality of life here in Geneva.
I like it. I like it. He did some serious work there with the numbers. Somebody much smarter than me. Dang, 80K as a gardener? Yeah, that kind of blew me away as well. The health insurance percentage of income, the 6% to 15%, also can be a pretty large amount when you're actually looking at it. You're paying way, way more for health insurance in the US. Yeah, I mean, granted, health care is better in the US than anywhere in the world, but that's health care, not health cost. Health cost is also the most expensive. It's nuts. My job in Dublin is 45K a year. My job in Zurich is 107K. Whatever it is, I'll pay it. The cost of peace is priceless. That guy ran some great numbers.
In Switzerland, you get a lot of money, and it's true. But let me tell you something. The living cost is extremely high. For your apartment, you will pay at least 1,000 per person. Then you have the health insurance, which is minimum 350 a month. Then the trains, which is minimum also 100 a month.
Wait, I thought he just said it came out of the taxes. Now she's saying that she has to pay 350. Help,
And
guys.
if you need to commute, you would probably get the GEA, which includes all Switzerland, which is around 300 a month. Then you need to pay food. Food is very expensive in Switzerland.
The
So
food
in my
does
case,
seem expensive.
I pay around 300, 400. I'm not a person who doesn't eat that much, but also not a person who eats a lot. And then, of course, you want to enjoy life, right? So you want to go to a restaurant for dinner, maybe. And that's minimum 40, 50 francs. Unless you go to fast food like McDonald's, which then is going to be like 15, 20, the minimum. Alcohol and parties in general is also very expensive. A ticket to a nightclub will be minimum 30 francs. And then drinks inside are crazy. So a shot will be like 8 francs. And a long drink is going to be minimum 50.
That actually seems
And it's
affordable.
true, some people come here, they don't do a lot of things, and they save a lot of money. That is possible. But if you want to come here and enjoy life, you're going to spend a lot more than what you think. So yes, we have high salaries, but the living cost is very high. Everyone
Great. I love Switzerland though. Switzerland looks so beautiful. You know, I don't think you move to Switzerland like hoping to save money. This is not expensive. Try living costs in New York. Yeah, New York is, I don't even know how they do it up there. 2,000 Swiss francs a month is still more affordable than rent in a Canadian city, unfortunately. Yeah, more Canadians I'm seeing in the comments. Yeah, cheaper than Ontario, another Canadian. We've been seeing more and more Canadians recently in the comments section.
I'm a 30-year-old American living in my fifth country, the Netherlands. And today, let's talk about the cost of living to be here. Let me preface this video by saying these are just my cost of living. I am someone who lives very cheaply when I can live very cheaply. Some of these figures and these numbers that
I thought he said Tripoli. I was like, what is Tripoli?
I'm about to give you is not the same cost for many people here because there is, in fact, a housing crisis here. Again, I will say there is, in fact, a housing crisis here. People are looking for apartments for years on years. If you have more income to spend on that, you won't have as much trouble. But there is a housing crisis. Okay, so let's get into it. First off, my biggest expense is obviously rent. Different from what many of you may think, I do not have my own apartment with my partner. Currently, we moved here with plans to stay with our friend for just a couple of weeks, and then we would find our perfect apartment, but that has not been the case due to the housing crisis. Luckily, we are able to stay with our friend as long as we would like to because she has a spare room. The house is quite separated. We kind of have our own private space. For rent, we pay together a total of 500 euros for an entire month. I know that it's much cheaper than many people pay.
That's
and
pretty
that is also why we are still here, and we are so grateful for our friend. Thank you. Our second largest expense is our health insurance. We each pay 140 euros a month. That includes all of your basic needs, being able to go see a doctor, going to the hospital and such. It doesn't include any extra benefits like dentists, orthodontists, any of those things. Next, my greatest expense is my transportation. So I do have a bike, but because I work all across the country, I need to be able to travel by train many times. So for instance, I have a subscription plan which runs 40 euros a month that gives me the access to be able to take the trains for free on the weekends and at a 40% discount during off-peak hours. In total, I average about 100 euros a month in transportation costs. Cell phone plan. Currently at the moment, I just have 20 gigabytes of data with texting and calling, and that runs me 11 euros per month. Grocery costs.
Dang,
Many
that's so
of you guys
cheap.
are here because you guys know that I mainly shop at the local market here, and that runs me on max for groceries 20 euros a month, and that covers me and Leo for the entire week. Bringing that all the way up, I would say we spend about 100 euros in groceries because we also shop at Little and Dirk when we need to buy household items or other items like, you know, just things that you get at the grocery store. Another expense that I have is my travel budget because I'm someone who, when I have a break, I want to be able to go and do and see. So I allow myself to be able to spend about, I would say, 50 euros a week, which is mostly spent on the weekend, traveling or just going out in the city and such. So I would
50 euros a week on travel. That's interesting. I spend money on travel like once every 6 months. I mean, he has transportation included, so what's the cost for travel? Is it like staying somewhere or
that budget. Let's go ahead and up that budget to about 250 euros a month. So if you add all of those up, my costs come in at just under 1,000 euros a month. Like I said, that is not the cost of living for everybody. That is the cost of living.
Hold on, I missed where you said what it was a month.
I would say 50 euros a week budget. Let's go ahead and up that budget to about 250 euros a month. So if you add all of those up, my costs come in at just under 1,000 euros a month. Like I said, that is not the cost of living for everybody. That is the cost of living for Austin.
Dang, Austin, you're getting a massive deal, dude. 1,000 euros a month? That's pretty good. I hope you and your partner find a place. When did this come out? September 15th. Really hope they found a place, man. That sucks to have to like shack up with one of your friends. I mean, they're probably really nice, you know, she's allowing you to do that, but yeah, everybody wants their own place. 20 euro a week for groceries. Girl, what market are you going to? And then also writes back, girl, look at all my other videos. The market is cheap over here. All right. Wow. It used to be 1 USD equals 2 Dutch glider. Dang. I don't know what that means. That's so good. You budgeting proper. Yeah, they are budgeting pretty well. Okay. So 1,600 to what was it? 2,500 euros. euros. Cheap beer. Internet's not bad either. I think I pay about $60 for internet, so $51, or 45 euros seems really fair, really similar. The gasoline. One thing that we get cheaper than everyone else is gasoline.
Much it cost me to live in Paris. You guys have asked for an updated version of this since I am no longer in au pair, so let's get into it. For my Metro card, it is 365 euros per year, which comes out to about 30 euros a month, and my internship actually pays for half of this, so we're looking at 14 euros a month. For my Wi-Fi and utilities, it comes out to around 80 euros a month, and my phone bill is still 20 euros a month.
Wi-Fi and utilities?
For food, my job...
Why is everyone in Europe getting such cheaper phone bills? Our phone bill is not that cheap. I've seen like 3 videos now that it's been like 20 euros, which is like 18 US dollars. Or is it more? No, it'd be like 22 US dollars. Is that how it works? Math is hard. Just crazy. Our cell phone is, I want to say for 3 phones, it's about 140, 130.
Gives me something called a ticket resto. This is standard in France, and basically it's like a debit card where I think I get about 21 euros a day, and it's valid at almost every restaurant and grocery store. My company actually pays for 60% of this, leaving the other 40% to me, which is about 180 a month. There are limitations on how it can be used, but it's a really cool benefit. This was a little confusing to me at first, so if you want me to make another TikTok explaining it, I would be happy to. For times when I can't use the ticket resto, or if I'm going to drinks or coffee or something, say that that's another like 120 euros a month. And if you've been following me, I still love to go to museums all the time, and those are free because I'm a student and I'm under 26. I also still love to party, not nearly as much as I did before, but I still go out. And when I go to clubs, I still pay 0 euros.
The joys of being a 26-year-old. Probably, I didn't get a good look at her, but probably good-looking woman. Pay absolutely nothing when you go to a club.
Technically speaking, I do pay for Ubers to go to and from the club, so we'll just say that that's around 40 euros a month. For working out, I have a ClassPass membership, which is 70 euros a month. So there you have it. I still think it's a lot cheaper to live here in Paris than it is in the US, at least in San Diego where I used to live.
Yeah, for sure. In Paris, though, I always thought Paris was a little expensive. What? The debit card is so cool. I didn't even catch it. I think my debit card is blue. I don't even know. 20 euro phone bill? Is that an unlimited data plan? Someone said rent? ? Oh, I didn't even catch that. Did she not cover rent?
How much I spent my first month living in Paris. Ugh, I'm so nervous to record this. Do not come for me. Please do not. Okay, so we are living in one of the best neighborhoods in Paris, thankfully, and our monthly rent is $7,500.
Shut the front door. Why? How much I spent this month living in Paris. 7,500 euros in rent. Is it paid in gold? What the hell do you live in?
Husband handles the rent, the bills, all that, so that is just lovely always.
Oh, how much we spent this month. My husband covers all the bills.
Neighborhoods in Paris, thankfully, and our monthly rent is $7,500. My husband handles the rent, the bills, all that, so that is just lovely, always has. You know, I like to shop, and I actually did pretty good this month. I spent roughly $3,000. That's just on stocking up on basics.
Is this like rage bait? Is this rage
content?
Getting
some stuff for the fall. We ended up getting some new shoes, just things like that, and we did not cook once, like not even in the slightest. Our coffee was roughly $300 for the both of us. We were drinking 3 cappuccinos a day. And when it came to food, because we eat out every single day, we spent roughly $2,700. And then over the weekend, one weekend, my husband booked a castle for us to stay in for a couple of nights, which was roughly $3,000. And when it came to Ubers,
okay, I've had enough. Janelle, you seem like a really nice woman. I can't understand, like, I don't like the cringe, like, look at how much money I spend. I mean, I get it. It's cool to see the inside of someone's life like that, but I was trying to find, like, average content. Like, what's the average amount? So, nothing against you, Janelle. Fantastic. She even wrote it right here. Your girl likes to live her best life. What was that what was the prayer, word for word? I didn't even catch it. So where did you find your husband? Honestly, babe, I can't even do this with a straight face. Here's this comment. Honestly, babe, this is a great budget. Don't ever feel bad for posting your life. That's not a great budget. That's not how you build wealth. Oh gosh. What does your husband do? I'm gonna get like a letter in the mail from our husband. All right, one more French one. Studio apartment. Here we go. A little more realistic. 500 and 900 euros. Shared apartment, 350 to 650. University residence room, 250 to 400. University, you get so much money off. Okay. Tuition's actually really cheap. That's kind of crazy.
Expensive to live in Paris? Well, as an American who lives in Paris, I'm going to break down my monthly expenses for you. Hi, my name is Erin. I'm an American who lives in Paris, and I live here with my husband. So these expenses are going to be for 2 people for an entire month.
Cool. All right, good. Good to know. I kind of want to see what 2 people would look like. Fantastic. Also, Erin, camera angle always seems to be at eye length or above.
So first things first,
It'll
rent. Help. We have a small studio apartment, about 21 meters squared, in the 8th arrondissement of Paris, which is a very nice area of Paris. We're right near Champs-Élysées, and we rent our studio for 920 euros a month. Next up is groceries. We spend about 70 euros on average per week, so that's 280 euros a month. Now for phone plans and Wi-Fi, we get our phone plans through a company called Free.
20 euros.
So everything is connected, and because of that, our price is a lot lower. So for 2 phones and Wi-Fi for our apartment, it is 40 euros a month in total.
Cheaper than 20 euros. Oh, the phone thing. That's going to get to me.
And next is utilities. The only utility that we really pay is for electricity. And for that, it's actually based upon the previous year's usage of electricity. So essentially, each year is based upon the previous year.
I really am liking that she's doing this video. I just feel like I'm a child and she's like staring down at me and talking to me. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just really weird.
And then at the end of the year, if you use more or less than you previously did, you are charged a little bit more. But other than that, you're charged a flat monthly rate, and then there's an adjustment at the end of the year. So our current flat monthly rate is 69 euros a month. Next is my debit card, which, by the way, you have to pay to have a debit card here in France. You pay a monthly fee for your card. Now, my husband and I joined the bank at the same time, so his card is free because we opened up 2 cards with the bank. So my card, I pay 16 euros a month for. Technically a little less. It's more like 15 and some change. Next is home insurance.
That's 16 euros. Wow. For a card? A debit card. I have to pay to use my money. What if you have like 15 euros in your bank account? You're paying more to have no money, or almost more.
Which actually I get through the credit card I have with the bank. So through my debit card, I qualify for home insurance, and my home insurance is 16 euros a month, and it covers me for a lot of different things. Like if our home was to be broken into, it would cover the kinds of things that were lost. And last up is my Metro usage. So Metro is typically around 2.10 euros per ticket if you're buying single tickets. But if you use an Easy Navigo card, it's a little bit cheaper if you buy 10 tickets in a row at a time. So when I do that, it's about 17, 18 euros. It's somewhere in between there for 10 tickets. So it's a little bit cheaper to buy them together. And I do that about twice a month. So that comes in around 34 euros a month. So the grand total for my spending per month with my husband here in Paris is $13.75. That's $1,000.
So nuts. Somebody in the comments says, we are getting so ripped off for utilities and phone in the US. Yes, I feel the same way. But utilities can be a little expensive in some areas. I feel like, where is it? I can't remember where in Europe, but I've seen high utilities before.
How much does it actually cost to live in the world's northernmost town, Longyearbyen? My name is Cecilia, and I've lived here on Svalbard for 8 years now. And today I'm going to break down how much it costs to live here. I've worked at a couple of different places up here, so I'm going to use one of my previous wages as an example today. At that job, I made 35,000 kroners monthly, so that's going to be the wage. We pay only 16% in total tax, so that's 5,600 kroners.
That's actually a pretty good tax bill there. 16% in tax for income. Nice. Really good. Is it the tax bracket? Because I thought the taxes were supposed to be really high in Norway. Maybe that's just a myth.
The 1-bedroom apartment that I stayed in then costs now 11,000 Norwegian kroners, so that is our rent monthly. Utilities like water, electricity, and internet comes down to about 1,000 kroners a month. When I lived in the village, I never had a car because you can literally walk everywhere, but everybody has a snowmobile, so that is 400 kroners monthly for insurance. Healthcare is zero because we have universal healthcare here in Scandinavia.
Insurance.
Now for groceries, when I lived in the village and I had this wage,
I'm going to say it. Paying 16% taxes with zero having to pay for healthcare is like a really good deal. I'm kind of jealous.
About 5,000 Norwegian kroners monthly, because that's what I could afford at the time. After all those expenses, I had 12,000 kroners left of my paycheck for anything else that I wanted to do, like go out and travel. Okay, bye.
That's awesome. That was Norway seems by far the best so far. Christ, an American where we don't have universal health care or a livable wage. Well, to be fair, it's not like she was making a crazy wage. Like, she was making a decent wage. But yeah, I mean, the universal health care, the costs are really good. I would rather have universal health care, because I know I made a healthcare comment earlier, but I would rather have universal health care that's, maybe we don't have the fanciest doctors as America, but I would rather pay less just and try and take care of my body better rather than like having to pay for all the people that have diabetes and horrible or don't take care of themselves here in the States, because that's why our insurance is high. Everyone's unhealthy, and then all the healthy people have to pay for the unhealthy people. It's really not fair. Seeing it broken down like this makes the US so much more depressing. Yeah, Norway definitely topping a lot of my charts right now.
Are you curious to know my monthly expenses living in the Swedish countryside? I know you are.
So let's jump right in. Water and trash, 820 Swedish krona. I pay the same amount each month, no matter how much I use.
Okay.
Electricity, about 1,800. Here I built the average of the past 9 months, so the costs vary according to the season. As I also partially use electricity for heating, it gets more expensive during winter and cheaper during summer. House insurance, I pay this on a yearly basis, but broken down it's about 700 per month. Wi-Fi, all in all I pay about 260, including the connection fee, and I already had fiber installed in the house. Firewood, spread over the year it's about 580 per month. Then we have my car insurance, because a car is essential when you're living in the countryside. That's about 500, and fuel I calculate roughly 600. Obviously depends how much I drive during that month.
Probably gas.
And lastly, on food I spend between 2,000 and 2,500 krona each month, which gives me a total of 7,300 to 7,700 per month. Is that more or less than you expected?
Way less. Way less for Sweden. Wow. That's quite inexpensive. Good for you. A beautiful home lifestyle that you enjoy every minute. Hard to put a price on that. Yeah, for sure. She is living the life that I want to live.
I spent for 1 month of living in Sweden. You guys know I moved to Sweden from Kazakhstan, and this is how much I spent for the first month of living in Stockholm. I spent 3,600 kroner or $360 on groceries, 3,000 kroner or $300 for coffee, restaurants, and eating at coffee.
I thought he was just going to say $300 on coffee. I was like, wow.
800 kroner or $80 on my phone and Wi-Fi. 1,600 kroner or $160 on transportation. I traveled to different cities in Gothenburg and visiting the Stockholm to Vaxholm. Spent 6,000 kroner or $600. Month of June we had wildfires in Kazakhstan, so donated $100 to Red Cross Kazakhstan. My biggest expense was the IKEA furniture that I bought for my summer Swedish house, and I spent 13,000 kroner or $1,300. In total, I spent 29,000 kroner or $2,900 for 1 month of living in Sweden.
That's really, really good. For one person, I would say maybe it's not as good as I'm thinking. When I was younger, like that, living by myself, I probably spent around the same, I would say. So I don't know. You should visit Dalarna sometime, or northern Sweden, R.A. Falun. You forgot to include the rent. Did he not include rent as well? Yeah, this one's a little messed up, but all right, moving on. A drink, okay. Free transport. 1,100 for rent in Luxembourg. Sounds good. Where's this place where rent is 1,100 euro? Okay, so maybe it's a little bit more than that. Rent 1,100. Rent 2,100. 647. Good, good. To the trammer, less than $1. Nice. $9.94 a month. Did this one not include the rent either? No, it didn't. Yeah, it was in the first one. $647 for a 1-bedroom apartment. You ain't finding that anywhere in the States. Food equals about $75 to $100 a week or $300 a month, including eating out. That's it. I'm sending my husband back to Poland. Someone else says, I need to move to Poland.
Costs of living in Warsaw, Poland. Poland is one of the cheapest and safest countries to live in Europe. I lived in Poland for 6 years, and here's what I used to spend. $750 per month. We paid for a 3-bedroom apartment, and we split the costs with my fiance. Food is around $300 per person. Eating out is around $350 per month. Now, in terms of transportation, I never possessed a vehicle in Poland. I used Uber and public transport. So monthly total was around $250. Netflix, home internet, mobile services, all together $40 per month. Gym, $30 per month. Extra purchases, clothing, etc., $100 per month. Fun fact, at the time when I was moving to Canada, people told me not to take a lot of clothes with me, because in Canada, clothes is cheap. Here's the deal, it's not true. If you're moving from Poland to Canada, take whatever you want. Stuff is expensive in Canada, don't listen to anybody. Now, if I had a car, I would pay around $50 per month for insurance and around $100 per month for gas, plus parking $40. So total without a vehicle, $14.45 per month. Total with the vehicle would be even cheaper, $13.85 per month. As you can see, Poland is a very affordable country to live in, especially for digital nomads.
Yeah, it sounds cheap, but money we got isn't so high as well. So yeah. Someone said, how can I apply? You don't have, I guess you maybe do have to apply for a travel visa. I moved from Warsaw to Vancouver in 2017 and regretted every second of it. I hear Canada is just, I mean, they're doing some wild stuff over in Canada. $1,000 per month in rent in Spain. Rent outside Sydney Center, $800. Utilities, $145 per month. Healthcare, $75. Groceries, okay, all right. Eating out, only $14 to $20. That seems extremely low. Gym and coffee, I think you spend more than $2 in coffee in a month. $235 per month for groceries. That's what I spend a week. I spend more a week.
This is how much it costs to live in Spain. In this video, I'm going to break down how much it costs to live in a city like Valencia, which is the 3rd largest city in Spain, versus a big city like Madrid. For reference, I moved to Spain almost 2 years ago with my husband, our daughter, and our dog, and this is how much we pay living here in Valencia. Rent in Valencia, a 1-bedroom apartment in the city center can cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. In Madrid, which is the biggest city in Spain, living in the city center can cost you anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 for a 1-bedroom. However, in cities like Alicante or Malaga, the cost of living is a lot lower, so you can get an apartment for $800, $900. Utilities, electricity, internet, water can cost you anywhere from $150 to $250 per month. And for the phone, we pay $24 per month each.
Another cheap phone bill.
Groceries can cost you anywhere from $250 a month to even $450 a month. Eating out in Spain can typically cost you anywhere from $15 to $22. For Menú del Día, it's like a lunch menu. You will be paying about $15, and that includes an appetizer, your lunch, and dessert or coffee or a drink. And for dinner, it can cost you anywhere from $35, $40 if you live in Valencia, and Madrid is probably higher, like $50, $60. Private insurance can cost you anywhere from $55 to $110 per person. We only pay $166 now for a family of 3, and that includes dental.
That's pretty good. Spain's one of the countries where the public health insurance isn't that great. People opt for private. If it's like Italy, I think Italy is like that too.
Private daycare can cost you anywhere from $250 to $550. Gym membership, we pay $30 per month. per person, but I know that
That's
there
a deal.
are a ton of gyms in Spain that can cost you anywhere from $50 a month to $100. These prices might seem cheap to you, but remember that also Spain has lower salaries. Public transportation pass is about $30 to $60 a month. We don't have a car here in Spain. I hope this video was helpful.
Love it, but Malaga is closer to Madrid prices. I'm 28, not married, nor have kids, but Valencia is a place I've thought about living and raising a family. I love being by the ocean, but also a small town-ish social town. Okay.
On a move from the U.S. to Spain, the country with an average cost of living 43% lower than the U.S. Rent 54% cheaper. Overall crime 5% higher. Violent crime 87% lower.
5% higher?
More on that in a second. A flight from the U.S. to Spain costs around $700 and takes about 7 hours. To stay in the country, the first 90 days are visa free. After that, there's the Spain Business Visa, the Spain Employment Visa, the Spain Golden Visa, and the Spain Digital Nomad Visa. Looking to rent,
a lot of
monthly
visas.
rent averages $821 to $1,353. Looking to own, a house costs an average of $406,000. Spain's personal tax rates are generally higher than the U.S., ranging from 19 to 47%. There's also Social Security contributions at 6.45% with a variable monthly income cap and a 21% value-added tax on goods and services. If you made $100,000 in Spain, you pay roughly 12% more in taxes. If you made $1 million, you pay approximately 7% more. 3% less if you lived in New York or California. So cost of living is low, rent is cheap, violent crime is low. If you wanted to work towards citizenship, Spain allows dual citizenship. But overall crime is marginally higher. Taxes are higher. And if you don't speak Spanish, about 27% of Spaniards are proficient in English.
Wow, interesting. At least the taxes you pay will actually benefit you. Well, I don't know. We just saw the last video where the girl was ordering private insurance. So I don't know. My Spanish friends, please let me know. Do you guys like paying a lot of tax, or would you like to pay less tax? Before you plan on moving to Spain, get a visa first. Difficult to live in Spain without visa. I would imagine that's most countries. Unless it was America 4 years ago. Then you could just live here without nothing. You just walk over. All right, guys, I'm all done. That was a long one, probably the longest video I've ever made. So smash the like button on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.